I warned you about this months ago. If you weren't paying attention then you need to pay attention right now. And the upside profits are enormous because of what Congress is doing, literally right behind me right now. And the Biden administration, what they are about to do today is going to change things forever. It will set in motion an entire industry in the United States, the likes of which we haven't seen since the computer industry was born. And that's not me being hyperbolic. That's literally how big this whole thing is about to get if Congress gets its way and if Biden signs the bill. And I think it's very, very likely that he will sign this bill with all of the Democratic support. We're talking about the cannabis industry, and today is the beginning of a major change in Washington. So a key House committee plans to vote on a bill to federally legalize marijuana today, September 29th. You heard me right. Legalize marijuana. Now, it's called the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act. It's called the MORE Act, M-O-R-E. It's taken up by the House Judiciary Committee, which is chaired by the bill's sponsor, Representative Jerrold Nadler of New York. If you remember and you were paying attention to my channel, Nadler passed this legislation in the House last year, but then it died in the Senate because of Republican control. Well, guess what? Now, Democrats are running the show with a 50-50 majority if you count Kamala Harris. So it's very, very tight. But nevertheless, Democrats can now bring this to the floor of the Senate. Now, follow me on this. Today's development comes 1 week after the full House voted in favor of a defense spending bill that includes an amendment that would protect banks that service state legal cannabis businesses from being penalized by federal regulators. Once again, Democrats came together and said, in the defense bill, we are going to allow banks to be protected if they deal with cannabis companies. That's a huge change. And remember how these cannabis companies were forced to use cash and how they couldn't even use banks. It was ridiculous. Well, now this banking provision is back on the table as part of this legislation. And remember, the United States was missing out on a major opportunity to make tax revenue off of cannabis all across the United States. And you can bet that's why they made this change, putting the banking provision back in. Because now they can track this revenue, and Uncle Sam can get his take, because he always wants his take. But even more than the tax provisions, it would remove all federal prohibitions against marijuana, and it would expunge convictions of marijuana crimes. Our prison system is filled with people that got locked up for minor possession of marijuana, having to spend years behind bars. Are you kidding me? And yes, it would also tax marijuana. This bill, my friends, is a game changer. Look, I'm an investor. I look for amazing opportunities to invest when I see the writing on the wall. And there are only a few companies that are primed and ready to take massive advantage of this major government change to cannabis. And one company that I think excels beyond almost every other company I've tracked is a company I've been tracking since last year called ICNAF Brands Company. The stock ticker is ICNAF right here on the screen. It's up over 900% since last year, thanks in part to their unbelievable revenue. Now, just think about this for a moment. They've managed to see a 900% increase in value, even with the United States market being fully untapped. They've been able to explode their business in California, but they haven't even had the chance to explode in other United States. But get ready, because we know what's about to change. Now, over the last year, the ICANN stock has been explosive. After finding support around 8 cents back in March of 2020, the stock then popped to a high of 82 cents in February 2021. So do the math. That's good for a move of about 925% in less than a year. Imagine if you had put $1,000 into that stock. Most recently, ICNAF Brands also signed a binding letter of intent to acquire Leaf Holdings, a premier extraction company. This is going to be an amazing partnership. They have decades of experience in organic cannabis farming and sophisticated extraction practices. So the two of them coming together is a game changer for this brand. ICNAF Brands is a fast-growing cannabis and tech company with a focus on manufacturing and distribution of some of the most innovative products in the market right now. And it's led by an experienced management team with deep roots in the industry and a proven cannabis business leader track record. Most importantly, its assets are based in Nevada and California, where the market could be worth about 7.7 billion by the year 2022. That's just a few months away. Dozens of states are just beginning to legalize its use. And while many in Congress are pushing for legalization at the federal level, the time is right now. Moreover, in today's day and age, more Americans than ever are supportive of legalization. According to Pew Research, 91% of Americans now say that cannabis should be legal. Do you know anybody in your circle of friends that doesn't think it should be legal? What are they, stuck in the 1950s? Even Amazon.com just announced that it's lobbying the U.S. government to legalize cannabis. Imagine Amazon, cannabis, game over. The writing is on the wall, and ICNAF Brands is one of those companies whose stock is still at amazing value at just 26 cents a share. That's well below their former all-time high. So an unbelievable opportunity before this legislation carves its way through Congress. So I look at this a couple of ways. One is that the company is in a rapid expansion, and I see tremendous growth in a few states where cannabis is legal. So even without the new federal legislation, they're doing phenomenally well, with a $7.7 billion state industry at their fingertips in California alone. And the second way to look at this is to watch what happens in Congress and President Biden. Once they pull that lever and make it legal, they could see amazing growth across the United States. This company could. The health and business benefits of cannabis are undeniable, and this industry is poised to explode. So do your own due diligence on ICNAF Brands. The stock ticker is in the description below, and because it's an over-the-counter stock, an OTC stock, you'll need to use one of the larger brokerages like E-Trade or TD Ameritrade or Fidelity or Scottrade, one of the larger ones. You can't use it with Robinhood or Webull. You have to use one of the larger brokerages. So this is an exciting time, and we're actually going to see some major changes that will create a massive new industry in the United States. Do not miss the boat on this one. We'll see you next time, everyone.